Hi Capricorn, welcome back to the Divine Dojo. My name is Gabriella and I'm here to do your reading for May 6th through 12th. Sorry, I am just having issues today with my situation, my setup. Like I have a yoga ball thing, a chair thing. And I think it needs to be inflated some more because it's just dipping down low. Got my sparkling water and I'm ready to go. Although I do usually love it with lemon, so. But for now, it's fine, whatever. All right, Capricorns, I hope you had a beautiful weekend. Beginning of May here, and yeah, so this week the energies are kind of chill, so not a lot of aspects and transitions with the planets this week. We do have the moon in Virgo still, and then it's going to make its progression up to that full moon in Scorpio. But before that, on May 10th, we have Mercury moving into Taurus, which is a nice sign to be in because communication can have a nice, smooth, grounded, practical approach to conversations that need to be had. And then also it's a good time to talk about finances and financial planning, investments, anything having to do with money. It's great to start communications about that. Excuse me. And then, yeah, and then that leads us up to May 10th, which is going to be that full moon in Scorpio, which is a deep and transformative full moon. It definitely is a lot about emotional healing and release, a lot of letting go, a big, heavy, transformational energy, a lot of things having to do with, excuse me, Scorpio is obviously the opposite of Taurus, right? So while Taurus deals with like personal money and finances and things like that, Scorpio has to deal with like other people's monies and, you know, deals more with like real estate and trusts and things like that. So, yeah, there's a lot there's not a lot going on, but that, you know, which is good because, you know, that Scorpio full moon is going to be intense. So a lot of release, and then also stepping into your power. That Lilith is still in Scorpio, so there's that dark feminine energy in there as well. So they are conjunct. So it's, again, like I said, a powerful full moon. What else? Yeah, it's a good time for writing down what is no longer serving you, people, places, things, behaviors, patterns, addictions, writing them down and, you know, on paper, and then doing a nice little ritual with either burning the paper, you know, burying it, or throwing the paper in water. However you want to, you know, use this energy is up to each and every one of you individually, right? Maybe you don't do rituals, I don't know, but it's also a good time for cord cutting, you know, and also something may be illuminating that has been in the darkness for a while with the energies that we've had since January. I want to say since November, really, but since January, we've had a lot of sluggish, stagnant energy, either within the collective for sure, and probably within ourselves. And now maybe this full moon is probably going to be illuminating something that maybe you didn't see, or maybe that comes to light. So it's a good time, like I said, to write down what no longer serves and, you know, do a ritual with it and get rid of it. So I have these in my hands, but before I start the reading, I want to go ahead and clear the energy because I'm feeling like a little bit like I'm having a hard time speaking, and then I'm having like a little bit like of a heart chakra blockage right now, and a little bit of a stomach. So maybe the solar plexus, the heart chakra, and then and then the throat chakra as well. So let's clear the energy. Let's see if we can call in spirit and hopefully give me a good and clear, concise message for you, the Capricorn Collective, for the week. So if you'd like, take a deep breath in and release whenever you are ready. And excuse me if I'm sniffling, I have allergies. So deep breath in and release whenever you are ready. Yeah, let's start this message off right. We'll call in spirit. Spirit, I invite you to this reading to give me a clear message for me to deliver a clear message to the Capricorn Collective. Yeah, so I'm thinking of what else needs to be said, but nothing really needs to be said. Like I said, you know, I just want to reiterate, it's a slow week for transits, and you got the Village. Yeah, maybe it's, you know, it's time for community. You know, like, we can't be you know, a single ship in the night, you know, and not expect to get lost. We definitely need like community. And the mountains also, always the mountains reminds me of obstacles, but for whatever reason, the Village is just reminding me, like, you know, when that old saying of, like, with kids, right, it takes a village to raise them, and it really does. And unfortunately, like, the times that we are in now, or how we've progressed to where we are now currently, and I do believe it's going to be reverting back to more community type of energies, you know, moving forward when we get deeper into this Pluto and Aquarius transit. Like the world that we had before, that we've all known growing up, especially if you're older, you know, families definitely separate and move about. And, you know, as the world grew, you know, families got separated and moved around, and, you know, aren't as close as they used to be. Whereas before, they were tight knit. They were, you know, you wouldn't have to go far to, you know, be with family. So this reminds me of that kind of energy of, like, we are going back to the village type of mentality of, like, community mindset, and not being this lone wolf type of, you know, energy that we've tend to kind of been in as a collective, right? Doing things alone. And that's shifting, you know, not everybody. Some people have longtime friends and family and communities and stuff that they've been in for a long time, but what I have found, the majority don't, right? Most people are not, like, really close in proximity to, you know, their family and friends and people that they grew up with, you know. And you got, I pulled from Wisdom of the Oracle, and you got Go the Distance. Hopefully you can see that card. So those are your two opening catalyst cards. I like it. Good energy. You know, Capricorn's definitely, while this is a cheetah, the Capricorns collective, you know, you're the Cappies, you're the goats, you're the billy goats that will climb that hill no matter what, you know. And that can be good, that can be bad, you know. I know a lot of Capricorns who are super ruthless and don't care. I've known, I should say, a lot of Capricorns who have been ruthless and don't really care about other people and, you know, feelings and whatever, you know, or how they get to where they're going. So, and then there's other Capricorns that are just and, you know, balanced individuals. So, you know, it just depends on you. But I like this Go the Distance, you know. And I like that it has like the checkered flag there, you know. It seems to me like you're almost to whatever, you're almost over whatever this mountain, this obstacle that's back there in the background. It seems like it's almost done, but you know, you still need to, you got a little bit further to go, Cappies. All right, let's get into the tarot. All right, Spirit, give me a clear and concise message for the Capricorn Collective for this week. It's been cloudy here in Los Angeles, especially by the beach, and it's just got me in a mood. Got me in a mood. I mean, not a bad mood, but you know, it's just like, all right, where's the motherfucker friggin' sun? All right. Ooh, that fell out right away. What's that? Queen of Pentacles. There you are, right? Sag and Capricorn energy. Beautiful. You know, she's a nurturing queen. She's definitely a practical, you know, step-by-step type of queen, you know, who follows the rules and, you know, who is financially, like, secure. I like her. I like her. What else we got, Spirit? What do we got for the Capricorn Collective? All right, we got the Wheel of Fortune and then the Four of Swords. I forget who, somebody else had them, but not in this order. But yeah, you know, fortune, karma, good luck is starting to shift and go towards your side. Is a turning point. A change in your energy. It might be, you know, you might get some clarity with this full moon coming up. We have Jupiter and Libra here. And then you, oh, sorry. So you got the Wheel of Fortune and then you have the Four of Swords, you know. Maybe once you get some rest, this wheel starts turning, you know. The go the distance is like, yes, go the distance, but definitely take care of yourself, especially with this calm week, to, you know, and being in Taurus seasons, to put in work, but step by step, slow and steady, right? You don't want to be like this cheetah, and you know, kind of like burn out, because cheetahs go fast, but they only go for so long, you know. They oh, well, is that right? I don't know. You'll have to correct me on that. I don't know if cheetahs go fast, but not for a very long time, you know. Anyways, I don't know. Maybe they can, maybe they have endurance. Or maybe it's the go fast but not far type of thing, you know, because they wait for their prey. Anyhow, let's see what's going on. What is this about, Spirit? Nothing's wanting to come out. What is this about? Thank you. The King of Cups, maybe like we have, here's the Scorpio energy here, right? Scorpio, Pisces. It says Scorpio, it says Aquarius and Pisces, but I kind of see this as a Scorpio energy too. Yeah, maybe it's getting back into balance, you know. I like that you have the King and Queen. They're in two different suits, obviously, in two different, one is in water and one is in fire and earth, you know, water, earth, and then fire and water. But anyhow, yeah, I like that you have the King and Queen, and you know, maybe there's a and take the energies as just energies, you know, not looking at it as male and female, right? Whatever. Yeah, maybe after this like needed rest that you definitely like going the distance, but in a balanced and grounded way. you know, with some needed rest and contemplation and relaxation and recuperation, right? You come back into a balanced place. I feel like this is still you. It's not like another person. So, you know, and that king is definitely more of emotionally balanced versus like the queen over there who is. And then you get the emperor. How interesting. Yeah, you know, the Capricorns definitely have that leadership role, you know, and this can also be like father figure energy, and it could be, it just energy, right? So we're talking about like a strong masculine energy that is rooted and grounded and emotionally balanced, diplomatic, you know, individual. So I'm going to take one more card and then start clarifying. Everything is upright, which is great. What is this about? This is, sorry, something's been going on with that, like this deck. Just, what is this about, Spirit? Thank you. Yeah, there's something coming in after, you know, a recovery period, you know, because this is like the 10 of Swords. I mean, it is reversed, so there's something definitely ending. I mean, you do have the Wheel of Fortune, so it seems like the Wheel of Fortune is upright, and it is turning into towards your favor. And then there's fast movement, maybe after this full moon, and recovery, because you do have the Nine of Cups upright, so it's kind of like a wish fulfillment and contentment after maybe a rough time, and you've stuck to your, you know, you've stuck to being like a good balanced leader, and gotten the rest that you need to get through this fast moving energy that's coming towards you, so you can move on to being in a content space. What is this situation about, Spirit? Why is this 10 of Swords here? Why is this 10 of Swords here? What is this 10 of Swords? What is Capricorn moving on from this week? What is being revealed? What are they moving on from? Thank you. Death. But it is reversed. So maybe you have been, you know, you've been strong. You've obviously been trying to keep the balance in yourself, in your role, in your space, in your authority, right? But I asked, what is the 10 of Swords about? And maybe it's, you know, all of this energy coming in and, you know, I wouldn't say Capricorns are resistant to change, because, you know, they can embrace change. It's just maybe there's a little bit of a fear of change. I don't find it too much of a resistance. I mean, this is reversed. This is the Scorpionic energy here. I have Sag, Capricorn, Libra, Aries, Sag, Gemini, and Pisces energy. So, resistance to change. To change what? To change it about themselves, or what is it? What is this Death reversed about? Because with the Death upright, it's definitely, you know, something is ending, or maybe you've been resisting something that needs to end, especially with that karma, you know, Maybe there's been unpredictable energy because something is changing. What is this about, Spirit? Maybe some loss, some financial loss. You're moving on from some sort of loss. Maybe your finances are improving after a little bit of a loss. And then maybe there's the Five of Swords here. We got the Five of Pentacles and then the Five of Swords. They both in reverse. So I like that. So maybe you're dealing with some kind of loss and you're trying to make amends, or you have a desire to forgive whatever has happened in the past, to be able to move on and have this death and rebirth process go on and have the wheel turn in your favor. And then there's one more card that landed. It is the Ten of Cups, you know, your wish fulfillment. It is upside down, but what's nice is that the Nine of Cups is here. But, you know, we obviously want the Ten of Cups on the upright, right? So maybe your dreams were, whatever you had dreamt would happen is not happening. And so you had kind of like a shattered reality, or, you know, in your home life, or maybe, like I said, maybe it's like financial loss, or maybe a loss of a loved one. I'm not sure if that's the case. I'm so sorry. And maybe you have been disconnected, you know, like, and you have been needing to rest. It seems like you've been trying to keep up, and I don't want to say the facade or a mask or anything like that, but trying to keep up pretenses like all is well, when deep down, you know, all really hasn't been well, and you've been resisting, you know, trying to have this transformation happen, and maybe you're a little fearful of that, and resistant to that, but, you know, there is contentment. There is that Wheel of Fortune. You are here, you know, representing yourself as the Queen of Pentacles, but there's something that's been holding you back. What is this holding them back? What is this resistance? What is this resistance? Spirit. How can Capricorn, what is this resistance? And then we'll ask. I'm going to take them because, excuse me, I don't know what. Yeah, the resistance, there you are, the devil energy, your energy right there. Maybe some addictions, maybe things that you haven't been wanting to see are going to come to the light. Maybe you don't think you have, you know, addictions, or you're in denial about, you know, addictions, negative energies, negative thoughts, you know, negative people, you know, around you, and temptations, you know, or maybe being in destructive behavior that you might not think is destructive, right? Because we have this one's upright, your energy, Capricorn energy, devil energy, and then we have the Hermit reverse, you know, and maybe you've been lonely and withdrawn and feeling lonely and isolated, and you're looking for the, you know, that wish fulfillment, the contentment, the happiness, but you're feeling alone. And this reminds me of like the Village, right? You can't do, yes, we can do a lot alone, but, you know, sometimes we need a people, and the right people. Maybe you have wrong people around you, right? Maybe you have wrong people around you, or wrong energies around you that keep you kind of stuck and not wanting to make this transformation, right? And this definitely, the Capricorn energy is toxicity too, right? So, and look at this Fool, you know, I like that this is reversed. This is great, right? But it's like, it's like two people, like one is like the woman in front, she's like, and then the other guy in crutches following this fool, you know, the woman. And it's like, what are you fools doing outside? Go inside the church, you know, there is shelter, you know. So yeah, there's definitely some sort, but the good thing is, like, the burdens are over, but there's something that has to give. And maybe you're going to get some insight in the Scorpio new moon of what this is. So, interesting. What can help Capricorn this week too? What is the advice for Capricorn to help them move through this? Yeah, you got the Ace of Swords, but it is in the reverse. You need some clarity. You need to go within and get some clarity. Oops. Into whatever this devil energy is for you. It's going to be different for everybody, right? What this burden has been, you know, what has caused you this pain that you are moving on from, but there's something that is like feeling a little stuck here. So, and maybe what it is you need to come in with this Page of Wands energy, like with new ideas, new perspective, new energy to yourself, you know. And then you do have the Ace of Wands, but it is reversed. So 2 aces, which is a good sign, but they are reversed. So, you know, there's a blockage here. There's a blockage for sure. What is the blockage, Spirit? What is the blockage? How can Capricorn go the distance when there's a block here? Thank you. You have the Ace of Cups. It's your emotions. Maybe you're emotionally unbalanced still, right? I mean, the King of Cups is here, but there's something having to do with your emotional well-being. Maybe it's like your emotional well-being. Yeah, maybe you have been living, not a lie, but in a facade, or, you know, yeah, things are going okay when they're maybe not so great. They're not bad, but they're not so great. And so it's about like tapping into, you know, that heart space and getting yourself emotionally balanced here, because it is reversed. So you got 3 aces, and they're all reversed. So you have good things coming your way. You just have to figure out, what is that blockage? What is this blockage about? Emotions. Thank you. That popped out. Knight of Wands, and it's reversed. Yeah, it's definitely having, you know, the courage to move forward and not being in fear, and coming from an emotionally balanced place, and conquering whatever this devil energy is, having the courage to face it, you know, whatever that blockage is. I want to... What is the advice for Capricorn? What is the advice for Capricorn? What is the advice? Yeah, it's like, it's time to move on, you know. It's time to make progress. It's time to move on. It's time to look at other opportunities. Maybe it's time to make a move, like wherever, out of your home, out of the city, out of the... You know, whatever the situation is, it's time to progress and move on and not stay stuck. It's definitely expansive energy with this Aries energy. And then we also have Jupiter moving into Cancer, but that's going to be in like 3 weeks or so. But, you know, Jupiter is the expansive planet, and it will be in Cancer, so... I'm going to go for one more because there's something that I'm just... What last advice can we give Capricorn? Page of Pentacles, and this one came out cockeyed, but I'm going to take it as the upright because it was kind of sideways. Yeah, I mean, it's just reminding me that you need to come with new energy and enthusiasm and optimism and happy, you know, like a happy-go-lucky kind of vibe to whatever it is that you're dealing with this week, you know, positive vibe type of thing. You know, and that's not spiritually bypassing, you know, the hard stuff. Obviously, we all go through hard stuff, but it's bringing a new happy energy to it. Let me pull up what's the vibe type of card for you, and we'll read the Village because I'm feeling like you need some support here. What's the vibe for Capricorn this week? Thank you. One card fell out. It says nightlife, gamble, Vegas. Well, maybe that's what you need, or maybe that's like the thing you need to change, right? with the Capricorn energy, the temptation, maybe the nightlife is not for you anymore if you're, you know, like let's say you work at night or whatever, you know, I don't know. It's going to resonate differently for everybody. So this is interesting. Vegas. Oh my God. That's like my worst nightmare. Let's get, where did I put these here? This deck is all jacked up. What is this nightlife about? So funny. For my Cappies. What is this nightlife about for the Capricorn collective? What is the nightlife? Okay, I'm going to pull that one because envy. Huh, interesting. Envy, resentful. What does it say? Competitive, discontent. I don't think this is coming from you, but maybe. I don't get that vibe, but, you know, maybe it's something that you need to take a look at. I'm going to go pull one final card from the Light Seers. What final message do you have for Capricorn Spirit? What final message? Thank you. Temperance and Seven of Cups. Yeah, it's time to make some, you know, maybe it's time to make a final choice. You know, here you have like a bunch of opportunities and choices, maybe too many choices. You know, sometimes when we have too many choices, we can get stuck and ruminate and contemplate too much. Whereas when we have like two choices, you know, it's a lot easier to move forward and make a decision, right? Yeah, I'm going to leave it there and see. What comes up with the, no, apparently not. Apparently not. Apparently I'm not leaving it there. So I'm going to do the Singles and Relationships Oracles deck and pull from that. What is going on with Capricorn this week? I saw vulnerable, but it went back. Vulnerable. Didn't pop out, but I saw it. Yeah, it says not compatible and confusion. A lot of conflicting energies. I don't know if this is you or whoever you're dealing with. You know? You let me know, Capricorn. I'd love to know what this is about. because it's not like strictly like clear that it's like relationships here, but you know what? I'm gonna pull a spirit animal spirit. I think this might, because this is not being very. Whoa. That flew out right away. A gazelle, right? And what is the cheetah's prey? Is usually gazelles, right? So interesting how spirit works sometimes. But the gazelle, it's like it's bouncy, it's light on its feet, it's, you know, it reminds me of these energies that are trying to have you, you know, have more of this like kind of fresh young spirit, inspiration, you know, optimism, creativity, you know, happiness, joy. What other like happy words I can say, you know, it's just like this gazelle reminds me of these 2 pages, you know, coming in, not, you know, beaten, battered, and torn, and, you know, and, is over the fights and over fighting. Maybe it's with, you know, with yourself, and just, it's done with, you know, these, because we have the 2 10s, right? The 10 of swords and the 10 of wands, right? And the 10 of cups, but 10 of cups is upside down, 10 of swords is upside down, and 10 of wands is right side up. So you have 3 10s here. Like, something's got to give here. Something is about to break, and something is about to change, especially with this death and devil energy. Something major is about to happen, and you need to come at it with this like young, and I want to say not young, but like this new energy, this new optimism, this new like vision, this new opportunity. You know, there's opportunity here, but you definitely have to come attitude. Our attitude about things is everything, right? Yeah, and having like the courage to, you know, move on from whatever this was. So I think the Scorpio full moon, especially because the death card is here, is going to be big for you guys. So, and maybe something will be revealed, and hopefully you can move on from this energy. Excuse me. I just had lunch, so maybe that's why. I'm going to pull a Akashic Records cards and an angel number, and then read the village, and we'll call it a day. I hope this is helpful, Capricorn. You and only you will know if this applies to you or not, if it's making sense. Yeah, courageous heart, right? Courageous heart, and like having the courage and that to move on. Because you do have beautiful things headed your way. It's just like this energy that I'm feeling like blockage, stuckness. So anyhow, it says, it takes courage to follow your heart, especially when the path is unknown. And maybe that's what it is. You don't know what's next. The wheel is turning, and you are having some sort of rebirth at some point. But maybe it's like that little devil inside telling you like, oh no, you know, like what's going to happen to us? Like, oh, the change, we don't like change, you know, like we like the familiar. Let's stay here, Capricorn. Let's stay where we are miserable, but we know, you know, but it's familiar. It's a familiar hell, right? Instead of going into this like fresh energy and like throwing your hands in the air and being courageous and not knowing what the hell is going to happen, but it's okay, right? That's life. It says it takes courage to follow your heart, especially when the path is unknown. Your heart knows the way. Trust it and let it lead you through to your true destiny. Beautiful. And then one other one came out with it, and it says resolution. Yeah, whatever it is that you have been struggling with is about to be resolved 100%. Remember that resolutions don't always happen in the way we hope or want. And maybe that's what you've been struggling with, you know, like the 10 of Cups reverse is just like, oh, you know, shattered dreams and not how you were hoping things would pan out or how you thought your life would be to be at this point, you know. Remember that resolutions don't always happen in the way we hope or want, but being able to move forward and start fresh always brings relief. And just as I was saying, you know, like to have that fresh, young energy, and look at life with those like young eyes, you know, remember like when you weren't hurt and, you know, all this bullshit didn't happen, whatever this is, and move forward with it. And I think you will have some sort of resolution, or something come out. Cause look, there's that moon, right? So is Callie farting? Oh my God. I don't know. I think my dog is farting. I'm sorry. I gave her ham, so my bad. It's on me if she is. So anyhow, I should know better. So yeah, so this gazelle reminds me of that, you know, fresh start, and it'll be good because you do have the wheel turning in your favor. So let me read the village and move on. So Cappies, I hope that helped. Yeah, I think it's a good reading. I think something is gonna, you know, present itself this full moon. So, or a resolution or some sort of new idea is gonna come through, or new thoughts, new inspiration. So, says the village, the hometown, the family, the tribe. The village presents us with a conundrum. On one hand, it's the place that feels most like home, the place to which you can always return. Nostalgia and comfort draw us back. That's that devil energy, right? On the other hand, it's the very place you must leave in order to grow. Around the village, an unspoken boundary exists, one most villagers do not want to cross, or do not want you to cross. Though some support your leaving, still you hear whispers of doubt as you venture beyond its borders, leaving them behind. The energy of the village is present anytime we feel restricted by a certain group, community, family, place, or ideology. Boy, do I know that shit. It may have served us in the past, yet staying within its parameters will never satiate our thirst for life. Thank the village for all it has provided, knowing you will someday return. For now, the world awaits. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely, you definitely need support, you know, by people, but I don't think, maybe it's time to, you know, venture out and meet new people, new communities, new, you know, figure out a new space for yourself, right? I love that. I'm going to pull an angel number and call it a day. Capricorn, I hope that was super helpful for you for this week. And yeah, it seems like new things await you. You just have to be not scared of like what this damn devil is going to be whispering in your ear, like, stay here, Capricorn. You know, this might be hell for you, and you know, but it's a comfortable hell. You know this hell, right? It's comfortable. You've been through it. You know it. So maybe it's time you go and seek out a fresh new hell. I'm just kidding. But no, truly I am kidding. But It's time to seek out the new. And like I said, you know, it's about coming at it with this fresh energy, knowing that you're going to be okay, because you do have beautiful things on the horizon, and you are definitely a grounded and emotionally balanced individual. It seems like, you know, you have a sturdy, you're a Cappy, right? You have sturdiness underneath your feet. You're sturdy. You just need to have more faith in the unknown, right? Have faith in the unknown. Have faith in, even though you don't know what's going to come next, that you're going to be okay. And as I say that, hadn't even looked at it, but you get 2002, the void. Most people are really scared of the void. I live in the void. But anyhow, the void. It says empowerment, growth, friendship, relaxation, joy, openness, exploration, balance. You have more control over your life than you realize. Pursue your interests and take action to transform your circumstances. Things will improve with time. You'll have plenty of opportunities to make new friends. Yeah, I think it's like, you know, it's new. Yeah, the village is comfortable. It's a comfortable hell, right? Because we know it. And I'm not saying that it's literally like hell, that we're living in hell, you know, but like, I'm saying it in the sense of like, you don't grow in comfort, you know, where you're comfortable, right? So that's what I mean when I say, you know, it's a comfortable hell, or, you know, I'm not saying that family, it's a comfortable hell, or that being with family is hell. I'm not saying that. So just, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Anyways, eventually you'll get to know my humor. So it says things will improve with time. You'll have plenty of opportunities to make new friends. So relax, have fun, and open up. Yes, step outside and embrace the world around you. And 100%, you know, it's like step outside, have some fun, bring this young, fun, fresh, optimistic energy to this new world and this new chapter that is opening up for your life, because you're definitely going through some sort of rebirth. You just need to keep the little gremlins in the head, you know, the monkeys, the little mind monkeys at bay, you know, and that's basically our thoughts that like consume us, right? Beautiful reading. I hope you have a good week, Capricorn. Please let me know what this is about. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. That definitely helps me out. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful week.